still standing, so I'm good for another couple of years. And you know, I don't know. I don't know. I unfortunately, and I said this, and I believe this. I don't think the game will get me out. I think the administration of the game would get me out. I still don't like the direction that college sports is going in a lot of reasons, and but I'm not just complaining about it. I'm on every board you can be on to try to help make it better. And if there's one thing that I'm proud of that I think Judd would look down and say, the game means more than anything. And so I'm going to keep working on that. But I'm feeling good. Recruiting's gone well. Last week saw 2 sophomores and a freshman. So who knows? I'm definitely not putting any time frame on it. I'm definitely not thinking anything in the near future, but I'm definitely positively not going beyond being able to do my job, and that's take red eyes, get out recruiting, do whatever I got to do on a daily basis. And how do I feel now? I probably feel the best I've felt in the last 5 years, just because of all we've been through in a lot of different areas, COVID in particular lately, and we're moving forward now. I'm not wearing a mask. I'm going to coach, yell at officials again. It's going to be fun. Can't wait to get started.
Tom, one more quick question about your team. Tyson last year shot 47-3 from deep. That was the same as Respert his senior year when he was Player of the Year. But he was kind of a reluctant shooter in certain games. How can you get him to have more offensive initiative when it's there?
Well, I think that goes on both parties, you know. I think, you know, we didn't play him as much maybe in certain games, number one. Number two, he didn't get the ball when I think he coulda and shoulda, you know. If I didn't do a good job of, we got to figure out who are our shooters. Those guys got to get shots. We got to quit turning the damn ball over. That's been a point of emphasis all summer. We did get more shots last year, I think 57. I'd like to get over 60 shots a game. That would help more people get more shots. We got to get up more threes, but you usually get threes that are inside out, which means guys got to drive it and kick it. And I thought last year when we drove it, we tried to finish it. That's where some of those turnovers came on. That'll be a big part of AJ because he's strong enough to get in there and pass it. So, I mean, all those things are part of it, but definitely Tyson has been a bright spot of the summer. He's shooting the ball extremely well right now. He's, as he said, he's stronger. He's in the best shape of his life. It would be an interesting interview to ask Tyson the difference between 2 summers ago and this summer and what a year has done and all those things, because he's had a great year. He's on track to graduate. You know, everything that you hope for a kid, he's doing. And yet the rest of us, coaching staff has to do their job. And those point guards, which he's won at times, he just has the ability to play 2 positions pretty well. And yet where he could be really dynamite for us is he's a guy who can shoot it and guard it. Most guys that shoot it, it's illegal to guard it. And he can shoot it and guard it. And that could separate him a little bit. So time for one more, whatever. It's up to you guys, gals, ladies.
About Jaden, you mentioned his...
Youper, you got to be a Youper, man. You don't need that frickin' mic. You just want to talk, right?
Right.
I like it.
You mentioned his injuries, you don't see being a factor in the season. How are you going to handle that when he does come back? Is he going to have any minutes restrictions day one? Or is it
You know, that kind of, yeah, that's a good question. It kind of depends on the doctors and what they tell me. And thank God they caught it before it broke through. So we're on the bright side, and we went to a specialist that really did a hell of a job, and everybody's real comfortable and confident and everything. But hey, that is above my level. You know, I don't know what's going to happen there, and we will definitely not. We're not going to put him out there early and jeopardize the season to miss a couple of games, whether they're the biggest games or not. We're not going to do that. But I don't see that as an issue right now. And I think the good thing with Jaden, he's down there cranking it on that bike and on that versa climber. I mean, his conditioning, I think, will be good, like Cleves when he came back. After being out 3 months. Jaden will be out, 6 weeks. So I see a lot more positive in that, but only time's going to tell that. And there'll never be a time with him. He's worked so hard in the off season that I'll jeopardize. I mean, remember, I'm the idiot that lost the Wright State, and Cleves was sitting there swearing at me for not putting him in, and then put him in, and we lost. So nothing's more important than Jaden Akins to me, including a game or two. But that's one of the unfortunate things about Audrey's question is, we don't get a chance to groom our freshmen into things very much here in that preseason. It's one of the arguments that the guys that don't play anybody always say to me, nobody's mad because everybody's scoring points, you're winning, media's not on you, people aren't mad at you. There's all truth to that. But I like when people are mad at me, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get to ask a question, but that's kind of cool. What I wanted to ask you, Tom, is that you mentioned Carson's been better than you expected. Can you give some just kind of specific examples of those areas where he's been better than what you thought?
Well, he's just very talented offensively. He's got very good skills. He does not have great quickness yet. He's working on his strength. He's getting his body in better shape. I mean, there's big guys. Like I told Sutan, he was back a couple weeks ago too, and if he would have fallen in love with the game as a freshman, he'd have been an NBA player. Well, Carson, did you just ask me about Carson? Carson. Carson is in love with the game. And he has length. He is 6'11", and he has long arms. And what he is a way better athlete than I thought he was. He goes golfing. He's a very good golfer. He plays pickleball. He's a very good pickleball player. He can throw a football. He can catch a football. He has very good athletic skills. And what he's working on now, and he's got good hops. What he's working on is we've changed the body already, and he works on it. He's a phenomenal student, so he picks up everything well. And he just, after talking to one of his coaches down there was Vernon Carey's coach, and I knew him from recruiting him. And he told us early on, this kid will be a little bit of a diamond in the rough, and he has been very good. He's not as offensive skilled as Jackson, of course. He's not as strong or athletic as Amadi, but he's got something that neither one of those have. He has longer length and still has some athletic ability to it. So who knows what that's going to mean? It's always different. Like I said, summer ball is one thing, winter ball is another.
I know you've had football players. You ever had a soccer player before?
I don't know if Ebach played soccer. Some thought he played soccer while he was playing basketball, but love Edong. But anyway, if you look at athletes are athletes, and bigger guys, Elijah Wan was a soccer player, those guys can play different sports, and I think that says something about your athleticism. And when you're a big guy and you have that, and you still have some passion and love for the game, and you have very, very good intelligence. He's even a pretty intelligent basketball player. Basketball IQ, but he's a very intelligent student, so I think he'll pick things up quicker than maybe most guys, and that'll help. So between the three of them, we have different guys to go to. We'll just see how they do now as we really start practicing and scrimmaging and getting up and down a little bit. All right. Well, like I said, it's the day one, and you can see a little bit of it today. We'll still open it up. Everybody's going to have questions, but I feel good about where we are. Whenever you have an injury or two, you say, wow, I look at what football's going through, and there's a lot of injuries. You have those years where you have none. You have those years when you have a lot. If we have a lot, we're in trouble. But we would have been in trouble anyway. When you say about depth, if you got a player that's in a body, but he's not good enough to play, it really doesn't help you that much anyway. We won't forfeit any games. We'll we'll probably play the same amount of guys we normally play. We'll just, practices will be a little different, but I'm not going to change them any. And it's not really that big a deal. So Jay Wright has told me that playing 6 was awesome for him. You know, we won't be doing that. We'll play more than that, but I think you can do that if you need to. In this day and age where everybody's unhappy about their playing time, maybe it works to our advantage. Who knows? All right, thanks.
Appreciate it. Like you see what you're saying here and the difference from that room.
Yeah.